Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. You know, people have asked, where do you find your strength in a time like this? Well, I have to tell you, it's easy for Maria and I because there's so much love in the world. We had so much love from Kendrick. It's no secret to us that Kendrick did what he had to do. I mean, we've said that over and over. But you really have to understand who Kendrick was to understand why he would do that and who the person that he had become. You know, a lot of credit's put on us, and I love that. I think it's great. It's great for inflating our heads. You know, we're just good parents. And, you know, when we're brought into the world, we're empty. If you think about it, you know, when you bring a little baby, they breathe and we feed them. As they grow, we teach them. But as we're doing that, we're caring for them as parents. And, you know, as communities, we do that. Everybody has a responsibility in creating the individuals that we become. You're an empty vessel, and you're filled up. But, you know, the crazy thing is, you know, we make the choices whether we want to accept the good stuff or we don't. And we're introduced to faith. And, you know, your families can take you to church. You can believe in whatever you'd like to believe in. But if you're unwilling to accept that and live it, it's really not going to do much good. You can learn engineering skills in life, math, and you can graduate with degrees and never apply that. You know, Kendrick was quick to figure things out, even as a young boy, you know. And if I had to describe him a certain way, first it would be love, the love for anybody that he met, you know, and I mean anybody, people. He was compassionate. You know, if you're walking down the street or something and you stumbled, he'd walk over to make sure you were okay. You know, we all have the ability to be a little bit like Kendrick. It's all inside of us. You just have to be willing to know how far you want to take that. And there's risk in love. There's risk in being hurt. There's risk in rejection. Kendrick knew all of these things, and he never wavered from any of it. You know, and he knew right from wrong, and we all do. But what was extraordinary to me, you know, and I give whole credit really to my beautiful wife, I mean, is, you know, I don't think she realizes her role in his life, because she would let him learn these things, and she would give up everything for it. She never cared about anything except if it made Kendrick happy. Him being our only child, you know, I've been given this example. You can give him the shiny object, whatever it was. The most expensive MacBook, it could be, you know, a vehicle. It wouldn't matter, because he would quickly find out that it was just that, a physical thing. In our lives, physical things, we can't take with us when we pass. And Kendrick knew this far before anyone else. He knew that that was an instrument to connect him to other people, and that there's a greater gift in the things that we desire in life. You know, he knows that the bond in a relationship, when we would go elk hunting, it was never about getting elk or deer. It was never about that. It was about the adventure. We'd pack up the fifth wheel, and you would almost hope that something would go wrong, a tire would blow out or something, because, you know, nobody would get hurt, but it was creating that memory and that bond with his dad, with his grandfather. He figured that out early. And he never lost that, never lost his innocence. You know, I want all of you to live in life. We all really, really love Kendrick, but to carry on his life's message, we need to be more like him. That's what this world needs for change. Is you need to go out into the world and create better people. When somebody's struggling and they're moving into darkness, you need to sit down with them and figure it out. And you can do that through mentoring. You know, he pulled me into the robotics team, you know, and it was like teenage boys, you know, they want to separate themselves from their father, but he welcomed me there, and he still did separate himself. He was like, you know, I'm going to run over here, you know, just don't bother me. You know. But then sometimes when I would get busy doing things, he'd come over and he's like, hey, Dad, you know, somebody's having a bad day today or something. You might want to go talk to him. And then he'd run off and like pretend he never talked to me, you know. So we can do these things. That's living our faith. It's interesting. You heard his upbringing from Catholic school and moving into technology, and some of you might be scratching your head and figuring, wow, that's kind of a leap, right? Wow. You know, it was. We're like, wow, you know, in Catholic school, as you can imagine, it's a little strict, a little different. I mean, we adhere to a different set of standards. And then you're moving into the unknown. I never had to worry. Kendrick just moved that right with him, you know. He brought the pancake breakfast that we were doing there and decided to extend that to teachers on their professional development day. You know, he took Trunk or Treat and took a small group and made it big to make little kids happy. You know, those are things. So we have the ability to be Kendrick in our life. And I just want to tell you, I've always known he was a gift and a hero. He was filled up with the good stuff, you know, and Maria and I, we can take credit for it, but you all have something to do with that too. You've heard everybody up here. Community builds strong people, but the bottom line is, you know, if you over-engineer something and there's too many steps, it's just not going to work. If you try to outthink whatever it is, you know, Kendrick was proud of our aerospace community and robotics and things like that. But he figured out right away, Dad, you know, if you make a robotic arm that has 15 or 20 steps, it's not going to work as efficiently as if you do it in 3. And our love for one another is not so different. It's really, really simple. And I didn't teach him that. He taught me. He loved his mother immensely. They had their special bond. You know, kids' animated movies. They would get together in the theater, and it would bring joy to my heart, you know, eating popcorn and the laughter coming from the seats next to me, because they would just, that was their thing, you know. I know life's hard. We have a lot of healing to do. If Kendrick was here and he was looking at me, you know, and giving me the strength that he's given me to get up here and speak, he would want me to have the strength to help everybody heal. Because he knows there's not anything I can do for him now other than reach out to his friends and make sure that their comfort and their families is there. If there's ever anything I can do for any of you, you can pick up my phone number, or you could walk in our door. Our house is an open door for anyone. We love our community. We're a family of 3 and a little dog. But you know, I feel the love of thousands. And I'm going to have my moments where I'm going to be sad. I know my wife is. But because of our beautiful human being that we had in this world, we're going to get through it. And I think that he would want me to continue his charge of going out and meeting people and telling them who he was. And then also being sure that as we walk through life, we're becoming better people ourselves. You know, and that's really the big thing. It's not difficult, folks. I mean, we just have to love, take time. When he was a child, I'd work my job, and, you know, with, again, the support of my wife, she would say, you know, it's kind of slow at your work today. You know, you should really just see if you can check out for a couple of hours and take a little bit of vacation time and grab a Happy Meal. You know what? I needed to hear that. And that's what I did. I'd show up at his school and they would let me in, and I'd go sit at a table and we'd eat a hamburger and I'd meet his friends, you know. We only have one shot to do things like that. with our kids and with our families, with our community. Life is short. We move through it. And then when our work is done, we're called home. Cherish the moments every step of the way. You know, nothing gets so busy that we can't put it on hold for a little bit and get back to it. So I love all of you. I'll be praying for all of you. And walk your faith like Kendrick did, you know, going to Taco Bell and taking his hat off and doing the sign of the cross and praying over his food, never wavering what people would think. It was impressive seeing his friends come over and pray around the table. They had that kind of love for one another. And we need to reach out to people who are, you know, on the margins of society who need that. They're everywhere. Our world needs help. But you know, when you strip down the goodness of people, there's Kendrick underneath. Just want to say that. The love of police officers, first responders, clergy. You know, we all grew up as children and we're all filled up with the good stuff. What you choose to do with it, it's really up to you. So we love you and thank you for loving our son.